The series is tied 3-3 as we head back to KeyBank Center for Game 7 between the Montreal Canadiens and the Buffalo Sabres. Which goalie's going to stand on his head? Or which player's going to stand up and take their team to the Stanley Cup Finals? I'm here to break it all down for you. Let's do it. Hello, everybody, and welcome. Thank you for tuning in to another edition of the Forecheck podcast, where we get you best bets, insight, and information for your daily betting hockey card. I am your host, Exotic Wagers. Just as I said, Game 7 of the Stanley Cup playoffs, round two, winner or go home to between the Montreal Canadiens and the Buffalo Sabres. Who's going to take it? I don't know. I mean, a lot of you guys probably thought that we wouldn't even be here for a Game 7. I think a lot of you guys had Montreal just written off on beating Buffalo there at home, or Montreal at home, I should say. But yeah, but Buffalo comes out strong and takes a demanding, I think it was 8-3 was the final there in the last game. Yeah, and 5 games or 5 goals in the first period. A lot of that has been happening in this series. I believe the over first period is 5-1 in this series. But yeah, lots of exciting things to talk about. But yeah, going back to that game 6 there in Montreal, Rasmus Dahlin opens up the scoring early, 30 seconds into the first period, puts one back in the back of the net, 1-0. But Montreal scores 2 minutes later, or about a minute and a half later, and ties the game up 1-1. And lots of scoring early in that game. And then Buffalo just run away with it, putting up 3 goals in the second and the third period, each 6 goals between the two periods to take an 8-3 victory over the Montreal Canadiens. Like I said, as they head back to KeyBank Center in Buffalo Monday for the game Monday, May the 18th, 7:30 p.m. Eastern puck drop time. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty much anybody's game. Looks like Montreal's slightly favored here. But yeah, I mean, I think it's anybody's game. It doesn't seem like either team can hold a lead for long. Um, but yeah, let's go ahead and talk about it. I got a few things made up here for this card so that we can kind of share and talk about it. But I made this little thing with a bunch of the plays that I like on this card today. But like I said, the series is tied 3-3. Game 7 here between these two teams. Um, but it looks like Montreal's minus 130, Buffalo plus 110. The over under is set at 5.5. Opened up at plus 115, is now trended to a minus 110, minus 115 price. On some of the books, also too, like Montreal's minus 130, 120. It's kind of varies between all the books. But on some of the books, you can actually bet the series for a difference of price. So I've seen the book on some of the books that the series bet is pretty much minus 110 on both sides. So if you happen to see money coming in on the money line on one side or the other, always just double check your series bets to see what those odds differentiate from the money line. Although most of them kind of mirror each other between the money line and the series bets, but there is some books that it is different. So you can find that on various books. Um, Looking into some stats in this game. So this is a game seven. Buffalo is 1-6 in their last 7 games in game sevens. Montreal is 16-9 in their last game sevens. So that is, although Buffalo's only had 7 game sevens, they are 1-6, but 16-9. That's a pretty good percentage there. Although it doesn't have really to do a lot with any of these teams. Although there was a game seven already um, this year where Montreal and Tampa Bay was a game seven. Um, so yeah, those are the stats on game sevens. Some of the series trends, or I should say head-to-head trends. Both teams to score in the first period. That's 5-1 in this series. It's also 10 in the last 20 head-to-head between these two teams. The over 1.5 first period is 5-1 in this series as well, but also 13 in the last 20 between these two teams. So that is all something that has also been trending. And then the over 5.5. Like I said, it's opened up plus money. It's now slightly minus money or even money on both sides. But the over 5.5 is 5-1 in the last series. 5-1 in the last series. Sorry about that. Also, 13 of the last 14 between these two teams and 16 of the last 20 have went to the over 5.5 number. So heavy trend to the over 5.5 here. And now you are getting it at a better number because it is a game seven, which technically or typically game sevens tend to trend heavy to the under or be just more lower score games. Speaking of that, so there has been one game seven, like I said, in this playoff year series, not series, but this year, which was the game between the Montreal Canadiens and the Tampa Bay Lightning. That game was 2-1 Montreal, so a total of three there. But last year, there was a total of three game sevens, and they went 3-0 to the over 5.5. And then the prior year to that, the 23-24 season, there was 4 game sevens, and those went 0-4 to the over 5.5. So for me, if I'm betting a total, I know it's a game seven elimination game, but also that it was an elimination game for one of the teams in game six, and we still saw that number go over. So over 5.5 for me, 13 of the last 14, 16 of the last 20 between these two teams. Doesn't seem like they see a lot of unders. And I honestly would just take the value on the over. 13 of the last 14, 16 of the last 20. Like I said, I know game sevens tend to be lower scoring games, but we have seen some game sevens go over. All three last year went over. And I think just the trend between these two teams will take it over. Like I said, I don't think either of these teams either have been tied very much or they don't, or I should say not very much, but for very long, and one team doesn't seem to hold the lead very often, and then they just start scoring. So I think this is going to be a really close game, but I think third period, if one of these teams take a lead, whether it's early or late, that total could totally get out of hand, because I mean it's a pretty much win or go home. So a 2 goal lead, you could see, maybe a goalie being pulled as early as 5-6 minutes before the end of the third period. And we've seen as much as 2 or 3 goals in the last minute and a half. So at over 5.5, and the trend between the two teams, I definitely would have to go with the over 5.5. Over first period, we've seen 5 goals in back-to-back games between these two teams. It's also 5-1 to the over. So, I mean, I could see 2 early, and then 4 more throughout the game. So, I would lean to the over first period. I'm probably not going to bet first period. I think these two teams, game sevens and elimination games are teams that don't want to make mistakes early. They want to be the team to first take the lead and then either capitalize on that or try to play defense and win it out that way without making mistakes. But for the most part, I think you could see an over first period and over 5.5. So as far as goalies are concerned, We did have Dobish get pulled there in the last 8 minutes or so of the game, but I think that was more so for rest because he has played every game for the Montreal Canadiens. He is 7-6 with a 2.59 goals allowed and a 906 save percentage. He's had 28 plus saves in 5 of the last 6 on the road. His over 26 and a half is his line for this game here at minus 105. So he's had, like I said, 28 plus in 5 of the last 6 on the road. Um, I think that's a good play. I think you can also get that 25 plus as a parlay piece. I definitely could see that. Buffalo tends to shoot more at home, and Dovish tends to have more saves on the road. So it kind of fits the script there. As for Buffalo, is it going to be line? Is it going to be UPL? I could see it being UPL. Line did get pulled early. I don't know if he was getting pulled early for Game 7, but he only had, you know, uh, one save. He allowed three goals on 4 shots. He actually had 3 goals on 3 shots until they stat corrected him there later in the game, or he would have been, 0 saves. But and then on the other hand, Dobish, I think, allowed 6 before he got pulled for 8 minutes or something like that. So, but Dobish has had a really good series and a really good playoff run. They say goalies only have to have one bad game every 7 games because it is a 7 game series, or they tend to have a bad game every 6 or 7 games. So maybe this was Dobish's bad game, and he bounces back here on the road. I believe Montreal is like 5-1. I'm pretty sure. I thought I wrote that stat down. Something about road teams. Let me see. I want to say the road teams are like 5-1 in this series or something like that. I thought I wrote that down. Maybe I didn't, but yeah, I want to say that the road teams are like 4-1 or something like that in this series. Could be wrong. Maybe it's 4-2. But yeah, so as far as looking at player props and props in this game, or first let's talk about the power play. Buffalo had 4 power play goals in that last game on 6 attempts. They had been struggling heavily prior to going into this game. They were 6-36 in their last 42 power play attempts. That's like 14, a little over 14%. 4 of the last 6 attempts in that game 6 is 66%. That is like, what is that? 150 times percent better than what they've been doing. Um, but yeah, I don't know. We'll see how many power plays we see in this Game 7. Teams tend to not try to make penalties because they don't want to give up any advantages on the teams, but penalties do happen. If you're looking at a power play goal for either team over on Bet Rivers, it is pretty close to even money. It's minus 103 for Buffalo to get a power play goal, minus 105 for Montreal to get a power play goal, if that is the way you are looking at this one. Um, let's see. Oh, I didn't talk about UPL's numbers and Lions numbers, but UPL numbers, he is 3-2. He's played a total of 5 games with a 3.36 goals allowed and a 0.874 save percentage. Lion is 4-6 with a 2.59 goals allowed and a 904 save percentage, and he's lost 4 straight. So I think they're gonna go back to UPL, honestly, but to be honest, I mean, it could be either one. He could just, flip a coin, say which one I'm going to throw out there first, and I'll deal with it if it tends to not be doing well. So we'll see how that goes. But as far as player props, so all the way through the playoffs between, round 1 and round 2, for Buffalo, you got Benson and Thompson. They're both leading the team with 5 goals apiece. Benson is plus 310 over on DraftKings. Thompson, he's had a goal in 3 of the last 4, plus 180 over on DraftKings as well. Bowen Byram, he's got 4 goals in this playoff series run, plus 700 over on Bally Bet or Bet Rivers. And then Alex Tuck, he has been pointless, I think, in 6 straight or something like that. But he does have 4 goals in the playoffs this year. Helenis, he's got back-to-back games with a goal plus 800. So pretty good there for the rookie kid. Over on the Montreal side, Newhook leads the team with a total of 6 goals. You can find him over at plus 340 on Fanatics. Suzuki, Doc, Slavkowski, and Caulfield all have a total of 4 goals. Caulfield does have a goal in 3 of the last 4, plus 190 over on DraftKings. Then Imadov Davidov, back-to-back games with a goal, plus 320 over on Ballybet and Bet Rivers. As far as assists go, Darlene and Thompson both have 10 assists through the first 2 rounds of the playoffs. Their Darlene assist in 4 straight, minus 125 over there on DraftKings. Also, too, I did see JD put out a stat out about Darlene first goal. So if you're not following JD, go ahead and follow him over at West Coast NHL Hockey, HKY. And you can get a lot of those stats that he puts out on his page and also in the Ice Guys chat when the Ice Guys YouTube show is running. Thompson, he's had an assist in 3 of the last 4, and plus 116 over on FanDuel. Doan, he's got a total of 7 assists. He's missed in back-to-back games, but he has an assist in 5 of the last 7, plus 172 over on FanDuel. As far as for Montreal, Hudson leads the team with 11 assists. He's had an assist in 8 of the last 10, but it is a parlay piece, minus 175. Demidov, he's had an assist in 3 of the last 4, plus 176 over on FanDuel. Jake Evans had an assist in 4 of the last 5, plus 270 over on DraftKings. And Denault, he's had an assist in 3 of the last 5, plus 390. As far as points, Thompson leads the team with 15 points. He's at a point in 3 of the last 4. He's at a point in 3 of the last 4. 3 of the last 4 have been multi-point games. So if you want to take him for over 1.5 points, he is trending that way. Darlene, they're second on the team with a total of 13. He's had points in 4 straight. Josh Doan, he is in third there on the team with 10 points. He's had a point in 6 of the last 7. He did miss in that last game. He's minus 102 over on FanDuel. And Benson, he's got a total of 9 in the playoffs, and he's had a point in 5 of the last 7, minus 105 on Fanatics. As far as on the Montreal side, Hudson's had a point in 8 of the last 10. He's had a point in 5 straight. 12 of the last 14 versus the Buffalo, he's had a point, and 11 of those points are assists. So if you want to take Hudson, you can probably find better value on the assist, although the assist is still juicy where you're going to have to take it as a parlay piece. Demidov, he's had a point in 5 of the last 6, minus 104 over on Ballybet and Bet Rivers. Jake Evans, just to get a point, he's had a point in 5 straight, plus 180 over on Fanatics. So great value. I think if you're going to take Jake Evans, you probably will take him. You can either take him for a goal and an assist or just take him for a straight point at plus 180. Caulfield's had a point in 4 straight, minus 148 over on Ballybet and Bet Rivers. All right, now to my bread and butter shots on goal. For anybody that's been tailing my bets, you guys know that shots on goal is usually my thing. Before I get there, I also want to put this up. I do not have a paid service. So if I help you guys win your bets or help you cash some bets or help you just your general knowledge over, you can scan this QR code and donate to my channel, or you can just sit here and listen. So totally up to you, but I do not have a paid service. So all of my plays are for free. And you can also find all of my plays over on any of my social media sites. In the bios, I have the link to the Legacy Sports Discord where you can get all my official bets for free. So just click the link. Next season, we're probably going to go back to a paid service. So just want to put that out there to make sure that you guys are doing that. I'm going to go ahead and keep it on the screen, but I'm going to move it up here to where you can see it a little bit better. But yeah, getting back to the plays here, shots on goal props. Rasmus Dahlin, over 2.5 shots on goal. He's covered that in 8 of the last 10, 14 of the last 20 head-to-head versus the Canadians. You can currently find, I bet this about maybe an hour and a half ago or 2 hours ago. This is a pre-recorded show, and I'm recording this Sunday afternoon, May 18th. It's 4:22, 2 minutes late on some smoke, but 4:22. I bet this about 2 hours ago. Minus 139 over on Bet Rivers and Bally Bet. So that is way better than you can get it on any other books. It is minus 170, minus 165 or worse. But Rasmus Dahlin over 2.5 shots. It's a 2-unit bet for me. So you're getting it here first if you're not in the Discord. Minus 139. If it's too juicy, I would put it as a parlay piece. And maybe you can parlay that with Dobish 25 plus saves, was exactly what I did over on Bet 365 at minus 120. So Dahlin 2 shots. Jacob Dobish 25 plus saves. I believe it was minus 120. It's a 2-leg parlay for me over there. Josh Norris over 1.5 shots on goal. He's covered that in 4 of the last 5. Minus 108 on Bally Bet and Bet Rivers. That is about 32 cents better than any other book out there. So Josh Norris, minus 108. It's like minus 140 on all the other books. But on Bally Bet and Bet Rivers, you can get that at minus 108 right now. Bowen Byram, over 1.5 shots. 8 of the last 10. Covered that 8 of the last 10. 5 of the last 6 and 4 straight head-to-head versus the Montreal Canadiens. You can catch that at minus 110 at Bally Bet and Bet Rivers. It is minus 130 or worse on all other books. That is a 1-unit play for me as well. Alex Tuck, over 2.5 shots on goal. That is minus 118 over on Caesars. That is also a lot better odds than you can get on most other books. Minus 125 or worse on other books. He's also had 4+ shots on goal on 4 of the last 5. So if you want to ladder that to 4, like I said, he's covered that in 4 of the last 5 games versus the Montreal Canadiens. Demidov, over 1.5 shots on goal. He's covered that in 3 straight and back-to-back. He's had back-to-back games with 5+ shots on goal. So, yeah, you can take him, I would say, at least for 3. Newhook, over 1.5 shots on goal. He's covered that in 5 of the last 6. And 5 of the last 6, he's had 3 or more. 4 of the last 6, he's had 4 or more. So definitely another ladder spot for Newhook, although he had 0 shots in the game prior. I think he just took the day off because probably because I bet him that day. He didn't want to shoot anything. But yeah, those are definitely lots of shots on goal props. I do like I said, Dobish over 26.5 saves. He has covered 28 or more. And I believe it was 5 of the last 6 on the road. So, but yeah, as far as official plays for me, I did bet the over 5.5 at plus 110 on Caesars. And I did bet the over 2.5 shots on goal for Rasmus Dahlin at minus 139 over on Bet Rivers. That is a 2-unit bet for me. So I played a win, not played a risk. So I'm betting about 2.7 units to win 2 units on that play. And then I also did bet, like I had mentioned, Bowen Byram over 1.5 shots at minus 110 on Bet Rivers. And then I also bet Alex Tuck over 2.5 shots at minus 118 on Caesars. So I have about 4 official plays right now. I do not know if I'm going to get to a side or a total. I do like Montreal here. I think Dobish bounces back. But I also think it's like a 4-3 game. I'm hoping that we get a 3-3 overtime game. Have not seen, I think they've only been like 3 or 4 overtime games in the last, I don't know. I went back like 20-25 games. So not very heavy overtime trends at all between these two teams. But yeah, so that is it. Hopefully we can get some winners out of it. You can also, I will be on Perlo's channel tonight, uh, 10 p.m. Eastern, to break down these same games. Probably see a lot of the info that I just put on this page over on Perlo's channel. And also, please make sure you guys like, subscribe, and turn on those notifications to my channel so you can get notifications when me, Perlo, and JD go live on my channel. You can also follow Perlo over at Perlo Wisdom on his channel, so that you can turn on. We most of the time go live on this channel on Wednesdays and Thursday nights, 10:30 p.m. Eastern, and then on Saturday and Sunday mornings at 10:30 a.m. Eastern. And Perlo and JD are on when available. But also, you can follow me over on X, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitch at Exotic Wagers with a Z. You can also find the link to the Legacy Sports Discord in any of my bios. Click the link and get all of my official plays for free before we start going back paid next year. I believe we're going to do that. So probably after the basketball and baseball season as well, for the 26 and 27 seasons, we were going back to a paid service. So thank you guys all for tuning in. Hopefully we can win some bets. Enjoy your evening, and we will catch you guys on the next one. Peace.